r/entitled parents episode 2. M demands free food and then pepper sprays me. Yeah, what the title says is true. This actually happened last week. Obligatory mobile speech. Yada yada. Some slight backstory. I, 16M, work at a restaurant known for fancy foods and the like. So we get a lot of business. Especially during the summer. We had just reopened for business after the corona lockdown and more people had started to come in to eat. About the layout of the restaurant. The dishwashing room has 2 entrances across from each other, with one that leads to the kitchen and one that leads to the dining room. Also, when someone orders a dish, we put the food right into the dish, like most restaurants. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the story. Keep in mind, me, hi, M, you know, K, M's child, doesn't say anything, but just stands there. SC, sous chef. It was a busy day and I was running around the dishwashing room to get stuff done when M and K come through the doorway. This isn't that unusual, as some people may have missed the bathrooms and came down this hallway instead. Not trying to be rude, I say, me, hello, are you looking for someone? M, in a sweet tone, yes actually, I'm looking for the dishwasher. This is odd because I just clean the dishes, I don't make them. Me, that would be me. M, upping the voice. I want a full refund. My plate had food on it, and it was disgusting. My baby couldn't eat his food because of it. Me, well, I'm not the person to talk to about the quality of the food. And the plates always come with your food on it. M, no, you don't understand. There was food on my plate. As in it was not clean. And yes, you are the person to talk to about this. Now I want to see your manager. Me, knowing where this is going. Well, the chef isn't here today, but SC is right there if you need him. But as you can see, I turn around and grab a bunch of knives and turn around. I have a lot of stuff to do and you aren't supposed to be here. So why, all of a sudden, M lets out a huge scream as she eyes me with fear. Then, out of her purse she pulls a bottle of pepper spray and sprays my face. I am carrying things in both my hands so I cannot block it. Why takes a second, but my eyes start to burn and I up everything and cover my face. All of this is happening while M is screaming her head off, yelling, M, help, help, he's trying to kill me and my boy, help, help. By now I am on the ground curled up. I can't see, and it burns bad. Me, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. The other people who work there, including SC, rush into the dishwashing room. Everyone is yelling, with them trying to tell people I was going to attack her. K screaming about me on the floor, and me trying to stand up without bumping into anything. It was at this point that M realized what she was doing and got the fuck out of there. I got some help and got to the bathroom to wash my eyes out. And I got the day off with full pay. Nevertheless, M got banned from our restaurant and we warned the other restaurants in our area about her. So I don't think she will be going out to eat anytime soon. All's well that ends well and all that. Thanks for reading. Edit 1, Grammar. M debit card doesn't work, claims I broke it. As many of you in the US are aware, and possibly outside the US, but I digress, most bank cards have a square chip at the bottom of the card. It's supposed to be an added security measure or something, along with the normal stip on the side for swiping. Most stores have a chip reader added to their machines, but some still don't. This happened a couple years ago at the King of Burgers, in the drive-thru. We hadn't had a chip reader installed at the time, so people had to swipe their cards using the strip on the sides of their card instead of inserting their card to read the chip. One day this entitled parent came up to the drive-thru with 3 small child RN in the back seats. They're pretty irrelevant to the story. Beside the fact they were there, she was at the pay window and when she handed her card to me, I noticed it was snapped along the strip. I informed her that the card won't work. She snapped at me to just use the chip, so I explained to her that our machines don't have a chip reader. Well, just try the strip. You should have a chip reader. This is ridiculous. What kind of place are you? How am I supposed to feed my kids? I obliged to show her that it wouldn't work. I swiped her card and it read on my computer as an error. So I again informed her that we would not be able to use her card because the strip is snapped. So I began to hand her back her card. Without saying a word, she glared at me, snatched the card out of my hand and pulled out of the drive-thru. I just kind of shrugged and forgot about her and got back to the other customers behind her. A couple of moments later, the phone in the manager's office rings. My manager is wearing a headset as well, so she can help take orders when the rush starts, so I can hear parts of the conversation. Not to mention the back area at this particular store is about 500 feet max. So we're all pretty crammed together as is. Em starts going off on my manager about how I refused to take her payment, and that I snapped her card in anger and called her names. My manager was able to hear my side of the interaction at the time because of our headsets, and just simply told her that she knew what really happened. Em started demanding a corporate number, but TBH, I think my manager was done. She just said this specifically location was privately owned and that the owner will be informed, before hanging up on her. Kinda anticlimactic, but I was grateful to have my manager shut that down real quick. I've had managers take Karen's sides before at other jobs, but that's why I hate customer service. Hope you enjoyed and thanks for sticking with my dumb ramblings. You need to help my daughter get over her breaking up with you. A few years ago I was dating a girl named Hannah. I say was because that's no longer the case. Hannah and I were in our mid-20s when we met, and quickly started dating shortly after. A few weeks into the relationship and I would be spending more time at her apartment than at my own house. Her parents paid for a place for her. We were inseparable. Unfortunately, my rose-colored glasses didn't alert me to the emotional burden that I had placed on myself by being with Hannah. Hannah was, unfortunately, not emotionally well. Of course, being in love tends to let you gloss over these things, and I managed to forgive her for going through my phone or stalking other girls I talked to online, or for giving me the silent treatment when we argued about something, or for texting her exes behind my back. However, all this came to a head after just over a year of dating, when she accused me of cheating on her with multiple women in a big spectacle in front of her classmates and friends in public. After giving me the silent treatment for over a week, I decided I had had enough, and when she told me we're done, I decided to walk and never look back. Of course, this didn't stop Hannah from trying to do a 180 and get me back, which resulted in me having to block a total of 7 different numbers from her friends, and her burner phones before she eventually hacked my Reddit account and, after sending me messages through my profile, deleted it. I know what you're saying. Where are the entitled parents? Enter stage left. Hannah's family and I had gotten along very well. Her dad and I met weekly for baseball, and her mom and I would often discuss things for her apartment. I would often go over for dinner. It became rather apparent that her parents had difficulty dealing with her emotional well-being, and that they would many times look to me to help her during these episodes. So when Hannah came home in tears that I left her, her parents immediately contacted the one person who was there to help her during her emotional distress, me. In case you weren't paying attention, Hannah and I are in our mid-20s, and I was being contacted by her mother trying to explain how this was a misunderstanding and that I should come take her back, when it became apparent that I was not interested in doing so. Her mother allowed Hannah to contact me through her phone, berating me for ghosting her and leaving our fabulous relationship. When Hannah finally hacked my Reddit and I was forced to change a plethora of passwords as well as check all my accounts for suspicious activity alongside contacting a lawyer, I finally reached out to her family to tell them what had occurred. I was met by her father, stating that I needed to come discuss this breakup with her, that she was distraught and nobody else could help her but me. Apparently, I needed to help the person who broke up with me get over breaking up with me because I'm her boyfriend. It was then that I said to her father that no, Hannah is not my problem anymore, that I am under no obligation to help her through her breakup, and then informed him of the hacking and threatened legal action. He once again tried to ask me to at least contact her, because I could only assume her parents were having difficulty handling her emotionally. I once again repeated what I said, that I have my own feelings to worry about, and reminded him that she broke up with Emmy and you want Emmy to come help her through this. Quote, I hung up. I never heard from any of them again, probably because they're all still blocked. Entitled parent, try entitled family. Mandatory phone user. So sorry for formatting. This is probably going to be a long one. But to explain some of this, I must add that I was adopted by my grandparents on my dad's side. So when I say mom, it's my grandmother. Pop is my grandfather. And since I'm the oldest of my actual siblings, any reference to older brother or older sister are actually aunts and uncles. Now that that mess is cleared partially, let's get on with this rant. If we go back to when I was 13, nothing really bad happened, other than every time I got grounded it was always a month or two despite how little the act was. I had also been grounded an entire year for being caught playing my Game Boy at midnight. Fast forward to about 15. And I was the one being forced to do all the house cleaning. I would come home from school, spend the next 2 hours cleaning, then be able to relax for only an hour before I had to take care of 10 people worth of dishes. This would take anywhere from an hour to 2 depending on how lucky I was on how stuck on their stains were. I would have no help and no appreciation for the things I did, just being yelled at if I didn't do it right. My mom had on a few occasions gut-punched me for not doing chores correctly. Now this was just my mom's grandmother's doing. My dad wasn't hard on me at all. In fact, he was much more relaxed. However, I had always noticed that he always put my youngest brother first in everything, to the point he never bought me anything while buying him an Xbox 360, and whenever those broke, replacement ones. When the Xbox One came out, I actually asked my dad about getting his old Xbox 360 since I knew he would be buying the Xbox One. Nope. He instead sold his Xbox 360 and bought himself and my youngest brother Xbox Ones. Now, when I was in 10th grade, I was going through some serious depression due to being treated like shit by family. It was also because I was remembering some of the things my birth mom did to me that my brain had blacked out previously. My family had no interest in helping me, just repeating things they told me over and over. My mom in particular just kept telling me to talk to God about it. Okay, cool, but I need somebody who is gonna talk back. I knew I couldn't talk to my uncle about it, because all he ended up doing was ranting about how my generation was stupid and think that everything on TV and video games is real. Either that or he would end up mimicking everyone else who I tried to talk to. Thus I ended up turning to drugs to help me cope. I had actually planned on taking a lethal amount of the stuff due to how bad my depression became. However, before I could do that, my mom had found the stuff in my school backpack. She didn't ask any questions or anything, just threatened to call the police. Before she did, she actually decided to instead put me through hard labor for a week. I couldn't eat anything else but a slice of bread and water. I couldn't sleep but for a few hours, 3 to 4 if I was lucky. And most of all, I was treated like I was just the scum on their boots. This didn't exactly help with my mental situation, but things somewhat turned to normal after that week. Though that didn't last long, since the family friend that was living with us at the time decided to over-exaggerate the smell of the cleaners I was using, and accused me of huffing chemicals to my mom. Of course my mom believed her, because why not? Thus we set the stage for my worst day to this date. I had woke up to go to school that day, and my oldest brother, not older than me, and he has a list of mental and physical disabilities, started yelling at me for reasons unknown to me. I had eventually told him to shut up due to both not understanding him and I was trying to get ready for school. Well, my mom came from her room and started accusing me of huffing, which I denied since I honestly wasn't. Of course she called me a liar and brought me to the back porch, where she continued her accusations while I simply tried to hold back tears. Flash forward to when I was in school. I was in class doing my work, when the vice principal came in and asked me to come with him. When I tried grabbing my bag, he simply told me he would carry it. I rather knew then that I was in serious trouble. He took me to the principal's office where the school officer, the principal, and a guidance counselor were. Now the school had several guidance counselors due to how many students were going to school there. But the one that was in that room was not mine. The one that was mine very much knew what I was going through, and I still to this day believe he would have been the only one defending me. The whole group of them then started trying to get me to confess to huffing chemicals, due to my mom deciding to call them and tell them all about it. The principal tried turning everything I said into a confession, and even stated something about protecting his 2 daughters from me, despite a literal sexual predator being in the school. But he was protected due to being disabled. After they saw I was giving no ground on that, they changed the subject to my siblings, whom they claimed that my mom said were afraid of me. Of course this hurt me a lot, but they continued grinding me on that and asking questions. Eventually I just shut down and stopped talking. Then the principal said the one sentence that sealed my hatred for him forever. "Get him out of here. We're not getting anything else out of him." I was sent back to class, but the rest of the day flashed by. I was just done. I didn't care anymore, nor did I want to. When I went back home, I just simply did my chores and sat on the couch. My mom and siblings were hiding in her room. When my pop came home, he slapped me across the face hard enough to send my glasses flying. Not the first, nor the last time this happened, and told me to never make a fist at my mom again. Of course I figured this must have happened that morning when I had all my focus on not crying. That was my breaking point. The point I decided nobody cared, nor wanted to care. I went to the bathroom, closed the door, and turned out the light. I just laid on the floor crying silently, and I had full intentions of chugging the entire gallon of bleach that was in the bathroom closet. Just when I decided to do it, something flashed at the corner of my eye, and I suddenly felt okay. Not happy, nor sad, just okay. Of course the way I was treated never changed, and even now at 20 years old my family still expect me to wait on them hand and foot. They also don't understand the last thing I want to do after working my 10-hour job is come home and do chores. I even pay them $100 a week just to live in basically the storage room of the house. Though they still treat me like I'm 15 and take away my Xbox and PlayStation, both of which I paid for. They also threaten to take my phone, which I paid for and am paying for. Right now I'm trying to do what I need to do so I can move out. And little do they know I have zero intentions of ever coming back. I also will be going no contact with them, and I have full intentions of calling the law if they try coming to wherever I'm living. Thank you if you made it through this rant. I have more stories, and specific scenarios I glossed over. If you all want to hear those, feel free to tell me. You are all wonderful people. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more Reddit content.